And I'm going to record this meeting because I had meant to press record. And that is one of my great failings as a Zoom operator, is that I always press record about 5 minutes into anything. I think I'm right on time, probably about 5 minutes.
But do whatever you need to.
Uh-oh, somebody needs to mute. Okay, we got it. All right, so let me say a little bit more. You've met some of the key folks that you're going to see this summer. Let me say a little bit more about who we are. So in this community that you're going to live in summer college, there are a number of different groups of students who come to us. So Lott Leadership is one group, and you know who they are. And this is Rachel Berry, who's an alum of our program. She's fabulous and has gone on to do great things. You're also going to see our some of our Summer Language Institute students. Brianna here is in the Chinese flagship now as a student, or was. I think she's actually graduated at this point, but she came through our Summer Language Institute. So you'll see students living with you this summer who are speaking Arabic and Chinese because they're learning that in their college classes. You'll also see students who are in summer college with us. Those are students who could be in a special track, like they're taking health professions track to learn more about health, or they're in an arts track, or they're in, what's another kind of popular one? The communication science disorder track. There's a lot of different specialties, academic specialties, and these are for students who are really interested in exploring a major and taking classes and kind of getting to know our staff pre-law and our faculty. Those students tend to spend a lot of time outside of class doing like concerts if they're a music student, or trips to the Toyota plant or something like that if they're engineering. So the summer college tracks are another group of students that you will see living within our community, and they're all sort of focused on these different areas. You'll also see students who are doing research with us this summer. So we have students who work in labs over the summer, and they get to go dive deep on something of interest to them. Some of them may be in chemistry and doing something with the catalysis process that can produce better powered solar panels, more efficient solar panels. Some of them might be in a physics lab, or some of them might be in a biology lab. They do all kinds of things. And so you'll have these students living and hanging out with you alongside you. I say all of this because every one of these groups is special. You all are special. And I really love it when these groups mix and mingle. Usually the first week or so, they kind of stick to each other. But at this point in the summer for our June session students, I see them mixing and playing ping pong with all different people. I see them starting up tabletop games and coming up with karaoke nights and stuff. And I love that collaboration across groups. To me, that's one of the greatest gifts of this program, is you all get to learn from one another and explore different things alongside one another. Then I did introduce our staff. And it's me and Dr. Shelton, obviously. There are other folks involved, though, that I want you to know that are not on the call. Kathy, we mentioned, is your particular coordinator. If you have questions about paperwork and all those kinds of things, Kathy is your person. But there's also other people you're going to see around a lot. Matthew DeLoach is our sort of wizard for all things scholarship related. So when you have questions about financial aid, especially, he's going to be your person, and he's going to come out and visit with you all a couple of different times to make sure that the scholarships you receive are accepted by you and get applied to your Bursar accounts. So you'll see Mr. DeLoach around as well. And then finally, we have over here, Ari Lugo. You'll see her a lot more than you'll see any of the rest of us, because Ari Lugo, in addition to being our international admissions counselor, we have a group of students from Mexico right now, and I think one from Japan. I think we've one from Hungary coming in July. So she interfaces with all of them, helps them get through their process, but she's also in charge of logistics in summer college. So if you go on a trip, she's the one who made sure those vans got there for you. If you have a great time at a party one night, it's because Ari planned it. If there are entertaining things that you can choose to do or not do or whatever, it's because Ari took care of that. So she's really our master of student life in the summer. And then finally, the other person you're going to see around a little bit is Lauren Townsend. She is in charge of marketing for us. And so you'll see her doing a lot of pictures. And when you see your faces on social media, it's because Lauren took a picture and decided to create a post with it. You can always feel free to tell Lauren, hey, this is my better angle, or no, I don't want to be in a picture. But she does a really nice job of making people look good. So I just wanted to introduce you to these folks because you'll see them around this summer, and it's good to know what we all do. The other really important group of people that you're going to have the pleasure of working with this summer are our counselors. And I will tell you, I've gotten to know them even better than I did during training in the last few weeks. They start training months ago to do this job. But the last few weeks, I think they've really shown their quality. And I can't wait for you to meet them. These are generally upperclassmen, some graduate students at the university who choose to spend their summer working with students like you. They become mentors. They become, older friends who can give you guidance on things like, how do I choose between these two majors? Or, what do I need to do on college applications? How do I manage my roommate situation? Whatever. They are here for you. And they're the ones who sleep there in the residence halls at night and make sure that everything is safe, everything's the way it's supposed to be, and that the fun happens, honestly. Ari plans it, but they execute it. And they are just a wonderful, wonderful team. And I think you're going to enjoy them. As Lott students, you will have two counselors in particular who are assigned to you and who are Lotties themselves or public policy students, and they will work with you in special times when there's like community time activities where we're getting you to know each other, or maybe on a trip that you guys are doing just together. They will be there. In fact, you can see one of them in the middle here. This is Kylie. She's going to be one of your counselors this summer. All right. Counselors. Oh, Kylie made it into 2 pictures. Look at that. So what is summer college? I've been using this term. I've been saying all these different people live there, but what is actually going to happen in summer college? How is it different than just taking some dual credit classes, for example? And students do ask that sometimes, how is it different from just classes, right? I mean, I could just take classes. That's true. Those are dual credit students. It's a different thing. Summer college students live on campus. And the idea behind it for Lott students, for summer college, for Rebel Research, for summer language, is that you have that opportunity to really test drive college and test drive yourself as a college student. It's an opportunity for you to try on new things and push your comfort zone, make new habits as a student. Hopefully you'll be challenged academically and may have to create new habits or new processes to be an effective learner and effective performer. We're going to have events that are specific to summer college students only for you all in this community. So these are not open to other people on campus. They may be things like a tour of a special facility on campus, or there may be like we have a browse fair, we call it the special, the Meet the Minors and Special Programs Fair, where we have folks from some of our particular sort of niche, really special programs on campus come out and meet just with you all. So we have a lot of different events that are really supposed to be intended just for you all and that have emerged in response to what past students have told us. And this summer, you'll tell us things you want, and that will no doubt go into how we create programming for you, but also for the next groups of students. So we try to focus on your needs and what we know will be helpful and interesting for you. Summer college students receive tuition scholarships. Lott students obviously receive extra additional scholarship in aid, but the university makes this investment in these programs because it believes, first of all, that we have a duty as a public university to perform a service to our region and to our nation, but also because they want to invest in rising talent, right? And we know that students who want to give up a whole month to study are students who are going to go places in life. And so we like to honor that, and those tuition scholarships are the university's way of recognizing you're something special. And whether you come here or not, we want to honor that and give you this. You're going to learn all about campus, which is useful, not only because other colleges and universities frequently have, similar kinds of setups, but also because I'm just going to make sure. Okay. But also because we have different specific programs that are unique to the University of Mississippi. Maybe you've never heard of the National Center for Physical Acoustics, but it's here at the University of Mississippi and it's pretty special, and you'll get to see it if you want to. So we want you to learn campus, learn what's kind of special, some of the hidden corners. And of course, we'll talk about the history and the other things that people love about it too. What the Grove, of course. And the final thing about summer college that we really want you to experience is the people. We've talked about, events and staff and faculty and those kinds of things, and about you yourself, but we want you to get to know others. One of the greatest things for me in life when I went to college was just getting to know this giant group of people that I had never met before from different walks of life, from different countries, from different states. And we want you to have that same kind of experience. So 4 times in a week, we will have planned activities that happen at night. They're mandatory. You will attend them Monday through Thursday. I promise you'll still have time for homework, but those are designed to help you get to know one another and to get to know other people like the counselors like us. Okay. So summer college is a lot more than classes. So is the Lott leadership. So what happens on a daily basis is you'll wake up, you could go to eat, but the odds are you won't. Most of the students don't want to get up in the morning early enough to go to breakfast, but you're welcome to if you want to. But you'll wake up in the morning and then you'll go to class. Your class schedule you'll get at move-in. We'll have it printed out. You can see it. This is when you're going to be, going to class. Here's your buildings, all that. As I said, at the end of the day, you will have community time. That's usually from 6 to 7. Sometimes it's a little bit later, depending on what we have planned, but you'll have a calendar. In fact, I think it might even be in the hub already, but we have a calendar that you can just look at. I'm pretty sure it is in the hub, and you'll see everything we have planned. Here it all is. This is what we're doing. And that way you can plan and anticipate, well, this community time, we have 3 different options for what to do. I'm going to choose this. So we'll talk about how that works once you get here, but that's something to know. Recreation on campus can include a lot of things. Most students like to hang out in the RC South a lot. We see a lot of ping pong, a lot of tabletop games, lots of Uno, and lots of debates about Uno rules. We also have like a little billiard table downstairs. And students also love to use the Turner Center to work out. That's we have 2 different recreational sort of gym facilities, and the Turner Center is the one that's closest. So students like to go there too and work out or jog, that kind of thing. And finally, the residence hall life piece is important. So you will live with a roommate. You've been assigned a roommate unless you requested not to. A reminder, if you requested no roommate, there is an extra fee for that. So there's still time to change that. You can still let us know if you go, oh, wait a minute, I didn't realize. But you will have a roommate in most cases. You will have a bathroom of your own that you share, and you will get to experience the whole dorm life. We actually, one of the features at some of the University of Mississippi's dorms is you'll have like a pod. It's like a little, kind of like a corner store, little market downstairs. We have one located in the RC South. So that's another feature. If you get the munchies, at 8 p.m., there's a place for you to go. This is the calendar I was just talking about. This shows you over here, these are the sort of the themes that Ari has developed together with me, and these are some of the events. This is June's calendar, but you'll see a lot of the same events in July. We'll be doing, for example, ballroom dancing instruction one night. There will be a trip to Memphis if you want to go to Memphis and go to a Redbirds game with us. We'll have a night where you learn about time management and how to read a syllabus. Lots of different options. Some questions you may have include things about just food and like, how do I get things done? So I'm going to cover a little bit of that right now. We'll explain in more detail once you get here. Food is mostly going to happen at the Rebel Market. The Rebel Market is like cafeteria style food. So there's like an Italian station, there's a hamburger station, there's a home style station, there's a sushi and stir fry station. These are all options for you at the Rebel Market. And then we also have a Union where you can get like Chick-fil-A or McAllister's or something like that if you're looking for that. I say all this is, you will have a card, an ID card that you can swipe at these places and it'll just come off your meal card. And you get about 2 meals a week, or 2 meals a week, no, sorry. 2 meals a day, Monday through Friday is about what we budget. And we also build into that some catered meals that we host. The thing to know about food in July, and I say this just to warn you, manage your expectations, is that there aren't many people on campus in July. So typically some of the food stations shut down for deep cleans at that time. And this is the one time a year when they can do it. So they do a deep clean. I'm going to sneeze, hold on a minute. I could feel that coming, sorry. So you will see that some stations look like great and you're like, I want to go there, but it's not open. We know that, and that's why we do catering. So every Wednesday there'll be a catered meal. And then on some Sundays, we'll do like a little brunch or something for you guys, just to give you some variety. We also do walks to the square and trips down Jackson Avenue to go for food on the weekends. So definitely bring some pocket money. Generally, students really enjoy that. They like to go beyond the square. They like to go down Jackson Avenue and try the different restaurants there. Your ID card, as I said, will help you get your meals. It'll also have a little bit of money for laundry there. But it also can be used to open your door and open your building. So if you lose your ID card, there's a charge to replace it because it's important and it does a lot of different things. So just know that when Miss Kathy gives you that ID card, you better hold on to it and not lose it. It's very, very important, and you will have trouble doing everything without it. Health. I'll say a little bit more about health in depth later, but students sometimes wonder, what if I get a sore throat or something? What do I do? As college students, you can use the university's student health center. They have a pharmacy in there and everything. So you can just go there and, get that sore throat checked out. That's a thing that students do. And you can do that while you're with us. We always recommend you call your parents, tell them what's going on too, talk to our counselors. If you're not comfortable going, we completely understand because you may never have gone to the doctor by yourself before. One of our counselors can walk you over and go with you. If something happens on the weekend during the day, maybe you sprain your ankle, please don't. Please don't. We have them happen fairly often. People just do crazy things. But if you do, we will take you to the urgent care. Here in town, we have a number of them. We'll just call your parents first to let them know what we're doing. If you think it's, a really important and vital thing that we need to take a look at, it's a rash or something like that, but your parents go, no, then we can have a whole conversation about that. But usually it's pretty clear cut. We need to go to the urgent care, we don't. And of course, if it's at night, we'll take you to the emergency room. And that's how we'll do it. Class and attendance. So I know that I'm speaking to Lott leadership students and I don't have to worry about this, but you do need to attend class. I know that college can seem less structured, but you will have class every single day. It'll be the same classes every day. You need to show up to them. It's your responsibility. A lot of people are really invested in you, right? Not just the university invested in your scholarships, but also Dr. Jones and Dr. Shelton, your instructors, all these counselors. We believe in you and we want you to make the most of this experience. So attending class is expected unless you're ill. Okay. And if you are ill, let us know because I'll get a call or a text from a teacher saying, hey, where's so-and-so? And then I have to have a counselor go knock on a door and find out. It's much easier if you just tell us that you're sick so nobody's worried that you're lost or something like that. So attending class is expected. If for some reason you decide to opt out of class, that means you're opting out of the program and you'll be packed off home without a scholarship. So don't do that. That doesn't happen very often. All right. I want to say a few things now as I'm transitioning a little bit more into talking about some of our values in the program. Our values and our rules really come from these core values that are the university's values. This is the creed of the University of Mississippi. Incoming freshmen learn it. We talk about it at orientation. We talk about it in our classes. We talk about it all the time because this is a university that cares not just about your growth as an intellectual and as an academic, but as a human, okay? And we also know that when you bring people from so many different places and so many different life experiences, and they have all these different ideas, they have disagreements, right? And they have to find ways to work together through that. You get two professors in a room, they're going to have 6 different opinions between them, at least, probably more on the same thing. So it's important for all of us, not just students. We respect one another. We are civil to one another. I want to hit those two especially hard just because I can't say enough. That's the foundation of everything else. Our community succeeds or fails based on really these 2 things first and foremost. If we can be respectful of one another, you can have those hard conversations in your class in political science and really learn things from one another because you've been civil, because you engaged in this commitment to others to be civil and fair and respectful and to engage with a spirit of curiosity. Where is that person coming from? Why do they think that? Before I shut them down, before I judge them, before I disagree, let me find out why, right? That's where we're coming from in our classes in college. That's where we want you to come from too. A couple of other notes on this. I take this very seriously, and we will talk about rules in a minute, but rules that pertain to respect are ones that are core values for us. And if you break those rules, there are big consequences for them. And I want to highlight a couple. If you're disrespectful to our staff, for example, to our counselors, when they ask you to do things, if you're disrespectful to them, that's disrespecting me and Dr. Shelton as well, because we hired them to keep you safe and to keep things orderly and all those kinds of things. And so if you can't respect them, you're going to have a problem with me as well. Okay. And I don't like those kinds of conversations. I don't expect to have them with you, but I want you to know the rules you're playing by, right? This value extends to our counselor staff who may look only a few years older, you may be only a few years older than you, but have done a lot to get where they are and deserve your respect. I'll say a little bit more later about some of that stuff. Academic honesty is another one I want to hit. Sometimes it's different in college than what you may have experienced in high school. So it's important to ask questions. If you don't understand how to use a source, how to make use of it to complement your own work, to extend your own thinking, ask. The professors will show you how. But what you don't want to do is plagiarize and get called out for it, because at college they take plagiarism very seriously. You can fail a course for one instance of aggravated plagiarism. I've seen it happen. I've actually done that with students before when I taught freshmen. You tell them, here's what plagiarism looks like. And if they do it, it can be a very serious thing, because the whole university is just a stack of ideas. It's built on ideas. And if we can't trust the integrity of the person who created the idea that we then build on, it creates a weak foundation for everybody. Okay. So that's what I'll say about that. Final big note, good stewardship of resources. We take care of our campus. We live here. We want you to enjoy living here. It's beautiful. We love our residential college south. It's so nice of the university to let us use it, because it's one of the best residence halls on campus. So we expect you to respect it and help us take care of it while you're here. It definitely means don't leave your takeout all over the place. That's one of the counselor's pet peeves. So let's talk a little bit more about community. When we talk about the creed and the values, here's some of the rules that go with that. We want the residential college to be a safe place, right? So don't let people into it that you don't know. Parents, you can help your children move in on that first day, but later, if you come back because they forgot something, you got to drop something off. After that first day, you can't come in. You could walk into the lobby and drop something off, and that would be fine. The counselors will be there to talk with you, but you can't just go up to your child's room. We like to keep it safe so that only our staff are in there and housing staff. We want it to be a place where everyone belongs. I talked about respect. We don't want anyone to feel called out for who they are or how they look or anything like that. Unfortunately, we had an instance last year and an instance this year already, not with y'all, but another program, where some students felt it was appropriate to call after young women on our campus, comment on their physical appearances. That's never welcome, and it's not appropriate. So making it a place where everyone belongs, it can happen for other reasons too. It can happen because someone's short, it can happen for whatever. We include all people in our community. We respect all people, as I said before. So please bring that set of values and that set of behaviors into the program with you. We focus on growth. You may change while you're here. That's the idea. So if you find yourself thinking a little different way, or you find yourself behaving a little different way, walk that, try it out. You may decide you don't like it after all, but we want this to be a place where you can work on yourself in ways that are interesting to you. And we will talk a little bit about service and what that looks like for Lott students later, but we have a real commitment to community that we try to embed in the program, and we like people to be able to give back while they're here, and you'll get a chance to do that with the Lott Leadership Program. This is the part everybody's been waiting for, right? Super exciting. COVID protocols. All right, I will tell you, please pay attention. This part, I know it's not interesting, but it is so important. About 1/3 of our current students in summer college have been quarantined at one point during this past month. That's a lot. And I'll tell you why in a minute as we talk about these rules, okay? Fortunately, their professors were very understanding. Fortunately, everybody's on track academically. We're all doing fine, but it's nothing to mess with. We ask, first of all, that you screen for symptoms. If you have any COVID symptoms, even just a tiny sore throat, please don't come, okay? Test for COVID and then come. That's fine. Make sure it's just allergies or whatever. But self-screen for symptoms. And if while you're here, you have a sore throat, you have a slight cough, you feel like you might be a little warm, go to the health center. It's better to err on the side of caution. We will have students, right now we have students from Mexico, from California, from very far-flung states, and we'll have the same in July session, students from all over. I would hate for their families to have to come get them because they get COVID, okay? It's a long drive across the country, but if we can all work together, we can keep ourselves safe. And it starts with noticing your symptoms and getting tested if you think you might have them. Okay, so here's the way it works. You have to quarantine for 5 days if you're exposed to someone with COVID. And that's what I mean by I had students who had to quarantine. We had a couple of cases of COVID, and those students, I'll talk about in a minute what happens with them. But you have to quarantine yourself if you are not current on your vaccinations as defined by the university. Now, maybe your family doctor says something different, but the university has a set of definitions that are derived from CDC recommendations. So basically, fully vaccinated, according to the university, is within the last 6 months, either you finished your 2 shot series, or you got the Johnson & Johnson in the last 6 months, one of those two. Either you finished your series, your original series, or you got a booster in the last 6 months. That's who's current on vaccination. If that doesn't describe you, you're not current, okay? And that would mean you have to quarantine if you're a close contact of someone with COVID, all right? The other exception is if you've had COVID in the last 90 days, you're also considered current on your immunity. So what happens if you have to quarantine? Well, I'll call you and I'll ask about your vaccination status. You'll tell me. If you say, I'm good to go, I'll say, okay, great. Upload your card so Miss Kathy can look at it. And then you don't have to change anything. You just go to class. We ask that you mask just in case you're carrying something, but you can live life like normal. If you have to quarantine, that's the next step. If you say, I'm not current, then what's going to happen is we're going to have to decide whether you want to quarantine on campus in a room by yourself, or if you want to go home. Some students this session have chosen to go home because it's kind of boring to sit in the hall for 5 days all by yourself in your room. I mean, you can go do your laundry, but that's it. And you got to mask up. You can't stop to talk to anybody. And we have meals delivered to you. So a lot of students have chosen to go home, even if it's pretty far away. But that's what quarantine looks like, okay, is the choice between those two things. And I don't want y'all to have, if you're not currently boosted, I would suggest go get boosted, okay? You have time, all right, before the session starts. Because I felt very bad for our quarantine students. Credit students, if you are symptomatic, let's say that you have a sore throat, but you haven't had a chance to get tested yet. What we'll do is we'll give you a room, a quarantine room by yourself. And then we'll say, you should go get tested. Because while you've got those symptoms, we don't want you going to class, right? So if you get tested and you're positive, then you need to isolate 5 days off campus. So you will have to leave campus. And this is a hard rule. This is not my rule or Dr. Shelton's rule. This is the university's rule. And in fact, they had originally told us if you have symptoms, you need to leave. And we were like, that's harsh. I mean, we've got students who might be coming from really far away. Can we at least give them a chance to isolate and some wiggle room there? And then if they test, then they leave. So they agreed to that, but they will not house minors who have COVID on campus. That's just how it is, okay? Like I said, it was made at a very high level in the university, that decision. So if you test positive, you leave for 5 days, wherever your parents want you to go for those 5 days. Some people will go to a hotel or a friend's house, whatever, or they go home. And then after 5 days, if you are done with your fever, You can come home, you can go back to the RC South, you can go back to class. You just need to mask. We ask that you mask when you do that. All right, for an additional 5 days. And obviously, if you have a roommate, they're not going to want to have you in their room. So we'll put you in a different room for those 5 days. So that's what happens in case you are close contact or in case you have COVID. And if you were the non-credit student, that's not any of you, you would just have to leave campus as soon as you had symptoms. So we're glad that that's not going to affect Lottie's. Do you have questions for me right now? I'm just going to open it up right now because sometimes there's questions about this. We can do other questions at the end, but do you have any questions about the COVID protocols? Just pipe up if you have any.
Yeah. So like, say I haven't gotten my vaccine since like a year and a half ago. Like, do I have to go get another vaccine?
We won't require you to, but you would be a student, you would have to be quarantined. If you're a close contact, let's say, somebody, what happened this session is one Lottie had it and all the Lotties were close contacts because they're so social and hang out together all the time. So yeah, you would have to be quarantined. Good question. Thank you. What else?
I also have a question. If you were to be quarantined, like, would you still be able to like go to class online and like do your work?
The professors were very accommodating this session. We had a few that could go to class still, kids in person, but a number of them could not. And so the professors did put some of it online. I think in one case it was online, and then the other one just went to Blackboard for a few days. So that it was like asynchronous, and they weren't actually able to interact. And that's a little hard, of course, when you're preparing speeches and things like that. To be quarantined is a bummer.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. But yeah, the professors are not going to fail you or something because you're quarantined. Any other questions? All right, we're getting to the end, guys. All right, this is my favorite slide because Dr. Shelton talks and I get to take a break for a minute.
Hey, y'all. Like I said, you won't see me much. I really am, I'm around a lot, but I'm not someone you would interact with that much. You'll see me kind of talking with the counselors. And like I said, you'll see me in room, move in. So yeah, I get to tell you about the big rules that will get you sent home pretty quickly. And please don't try these things. Don't say, oh, they won't send me home. I have no problem sending kids home if they don't follow what we're supposed to be doing. I was a high school kid. High school kid, of course I was a high school teacher for a long time. So I just don't play with this. So anyway, visitors, and you will be essentially what's called in loco parentis. Once you're here, we're in charge of you. So people can come visit you, but they can't come to your dorm room. You would have to check in and out. Your parents can fill out that information, but the reality is that we keep you secured on campus. You are not allowed to leave campus without either a counselor, staff member, or being checked out by your parent. And that is a strict rule. We'll send you home for that because you are indeed on a space here. Campus is really easy. Surrounded by 4-lane roads and red brick and white columns. You're going to hear me repeat that because guess what? That's the easiest way to figure out if you're on campus or not. We will be doing lots of trips to the square. You will not believe how much money I probably sign off on for trips, especially to the square and for gelato and for ice cream. So we do get you out and about. We do take you to the South Campus Recreation Center. Whirlpool Trails, which is one of my favorite places to go and to go hiking and walking. But you are here on our campus, which is important. Your parents are only allowed in the dorm on move in and move out. I don't even go in those dorms, by the way. If there's a parent here, we keep those locked down to people who have wristbands. And to the staff, I actually only come in with a counselor or with a staff member. I have to put my nose to the glass and say, let me in, let me in. Dorms locked down at 10 o'clock at night. You're in your room at 10:30, right? It's part of the gig. If you can't agree to that, please don't test my counselors. They've got a lot of stuff going on. You're not the only program that we run. So just know that. So curfew, residential spaces, substances, you're minors. Please, and I don't have a problem with Lott usually, but sometimes kids want to have the Ole Miss experience and they think that involves bringing certain prohibited things with them. Just don't bring it. Don't bring alcohol. Don't bring drugs. Don't bring something else you're not supposed to bring. Vaping, smoking, Jules, I'm 53. I don't know what all this is. My counselors do. And guess what? Don't bring it. Don't try us. That's an easy one. I just alert our dean and just say, hey, I'm sending home this kid because this kid is breaking this rule. Those are so easy for me. So I don't want to do it, right? I want you to have a great time while you're here and have fun, but we're really serious about your behaviors. We're really serious about taking care of you. And any of those infractions are easy dismissals. So please don't. The other thing, we want you to make sure that you are good stewards of my space. We love this campus. This is my 20th year as an employee here. And I came here for graduate school in 1991. So I love this place and I love this campus. So you're to be good stewards of it, to be polite to the people that you see here. Don't get in a fountain if you see it, to dance around in a fountain because that looks cool. God, I know the guy who's in charge of those things, and I'm not explaining to Dave that you damage something on our campus. If you see something that's not yours, you leave it alone. With that being said, we are a university campus, which means be prepared. This isn't like in high school or something where you could like maybe leave a computer and run to the bathroom at the library, or leave something sitting out in your door open to your dorm room. We don't like to think of anybody borrowing things, but the reality is things have a tendency to sprout feet and run, right? They have a tendency to disappear, to move out of the way. So be prepared to come thinking about, this is a porous space. Your dorms are going to be really secure. But again, you don't want to leave like your laptop sitting around in the common room and then go, oh, because sometimes our cleaning people come through and pick it up and take it to lost and found. And then you're freaking out thinking somebody took it. And the reality is you left it out and the cleaning folks came through and took it to lost and found. And then we got to track that thing down. So don't do that, right? This is not, and like Wendy said, do not leave out trash for any reason. Nobody's so special that they can't clean up their own messes. I clean up my lunch at Rebel Market. Therefore, you will clean up all of your stuff when you leave. We've talked a little bit about, what else? We've talked a little bit about absences. Lott leadership kids, you're not going to do it, right? You just won't. And if you do, like, just decide you want to take like an extra morning off and hang out. I'm going to tell you right now, you have two of the best professors on this campus assigned to this program. And one of whom is a neighbor really close to me. She lives in my neighborhood. Allie Moore is awesome. She's your speech instructor. She's great. And then I believe Bob Brown, Wendy, is that correct? Is the political science instructor. Bob is one of my favorite people on this campus. I've known him a really long time. And so really enjoy those folks. And he is, yes, thank you, Melissa. He actually teaches in the Honors College. He is well sought after. He is just an amazing professor. So you're not going to miss his class. People adore him. And so, and by the way, when I say people adore him, I'm one of those people who adore Bob Brown. So you're not going to miss him because really you guys are going to have access to some of the most important people on this campus. You're going to meet so many different folks. You have guest speakers coming in. The Lott Leadership Program has everything lined up for you. This is an incredible program. So I know that you're coming prepared to work. So, Wendy, am I missing something?
I think you covered all the major points. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheldon.
Yeah, my goal is to see
Daniel.
you guys at move in and wave at everybody and say, hey, and kind of go over these rules again a little bit. But other than that, I'll wave at you in the Rebel Market and like I said, for coffee. So Wendy, here's.
you. Thank you. We're going to talk real quick about resources, and then I'm going to turn over to the Lott Leadership Institute. I did have a question in the chat about whether we can make arrangements for you to isolate off campus. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to. I had asked housing whether they could provide isolation housing for us. They can't do that. The general counsel says they can't. So you would have to make your own arrangements to isolate off campus. And certainly if your family had questions about, you know, how close a certain hotel is to campus or something like that, we could answer those if they needed it. But that's not going to happen, right? None of you guys are going to need it. Nobody's going to get COVID because we're all going to be so careful. Final things, just some thoughts. There are lots of ways for you to get help. Lot students tend to like study groups. They also go to their counselors a lot. They want to practice a speech. They go to their counselors or some of the other counselors who are there. We have a writing center on campus. Dr. Shelton will actually start being over that in July, so you can get help there. GroupMe will be our method for connecting to one another. It's like a very contained form of social media where you'll be chatting with the counselors. If you have a problem, for example, you say, oh, my light in my room went out. Can y'all help me fix it? That's where you'll interact with us. Blackboard you'll use for your classes. And I encourage you to really find mentors in your faculty members, in your fellow campers even, or your fellow campers, you're not campers, but in your fellow students and in the counselors themselves. Look for mentors while you're here. You can't do that often enough as an adult, and you're going to need new mentors at every stage of life. So that's something that a lot of students really treasure about this experience. And as I said before, explore who you are, take some chances with your own personality and your own approach to life while you're here. And I think you'll really get the most benefit out of this. We have an app. We'll show you this. The counselors will show you this app called the Rave Guardian app. You can download on your phone. It's free. It includes a map. It includes things like if you are on campus and for some reason you're uncomfortable, you need help, you can call for it using the app. It's just a general good all-purpose app. It'll tell you about tornado warnings and things. So we encourage you to use it. And there's the map, you can see. And so then the next thing is move in, right? Y'all are gonna move in. We're gonna have you make sure that your ID cards work. If you haven't already checked your web ID to make sure that you can get into your email, you need to do that. That's gonna be very important while you're here. And you can take care of that now. You can just ask Miss Kathy if you're having problems with it. You will have some books as a Lott student. You'll have a course pack or something like that, and that's going to be an expense that you pay for. And then pack. We have a 411 that we send out that has everything from where you're going to move in, what you're going to do in terms of where you're going to find us and all that stuff. It's all in the hub. Okay, all the information you need, including that 411 and your packing list, is in the hub. What size sheets do I need? It's all there. So please take a look at it if you haven't. It's a great resource for you. And the final thing I should have mentioned and I didn't is we have a leave form. So you may need to use that leave form to check out. Maybe you want to go visit with your parents on a weekend. You can use the leave form, and that's also linked in the hub. The other thing I didn't mention about daily life, on the weekends, we have a lot of activities. So we encourage you not to go home. If you want to go to church on Sundays, we also do church walks. So you will have no problem with that. We have a number of different denominations that are just walkable distance from campus. And a lot of students like that. They go to church, then they have lunch. It's all very nice. So that's a couple things people sometimes ask too. I'm going to open it for questions in a minute, but I want to allow in the next few minutes, Dr. Jones to say a few words about the experience you can expect to have this summer.
Hey, so the experience that you're going to have this summer is really a unique one. Students, by the end of our sessions, are bonded in such a unique way that they leave here and 10 years later, they still throw up the Lottie Toddy sign. If some of you came through Lot 9, that will be familiar to you. But we spend a lot of time working and studying together, but also learning from each other, just as much as we learn from the professors and the other faculty members that are working with you. So it is, while it is a very intensive few weeks, there's also a lot of fun that happens during that time frame. You are getting 7 hours of academic credit. here on the campus during the 3 classes that you take. You're conducting informational interviews of local and regional leaders that we have reached out to, and it's been really fun kind of brainstorming the list of leaders that we have arranged for you. Some really phenomenal people. I think you will enjoy that assignment. You've got, as Miss Wendy mentioned, you've got Dr. Ellie Moore for your speech class. You have Dr. Bob Brown for your political science class. They have got some really fantastic programs, some assignments, some activities, all of those things planned for you. And one thing that you will do, that you will figure out, is as a cohort, as you move through this work, in addition to bonding with each other, you bond to these professors. And for some of you, this may be your very first college experience, or maybe your first opportunity to spend the night on a college campus. The other thing we really spend time doing is making sure you are getting plugged in, not only within the network that we help you establish, but also the greater campus network. If you have a program that is of interest to you, maybe that you're considering for undergrad, now I really hope you all are interested in policy, and we'll see you again in public policy leadership. But if that's not the case, let us know what programs you're interested in. And even if you have 2 or 3, because you really haven't narrowed it down yet, that's fine. We would love to help you get plugged in here, so you have the opportunity to maximize the time while you're on campus to meet the people that you need to know. So this is the absolute most beneficial opportunity for you. We've got a trip planned to Jackson, meeting with people at the state capitol. We just got word that we are going to have a private tour of the Mississippi Supreme Court. While we're there, we're going to do some community service with the Mississippi Food Network, and really get you connected with some great folks that you will be able to have going forward as you are now building your professional network. So really looking forward to seeing y'all. If you have any questions in the interim, my email address is in the chat. I put that on there when we first got started. So I hope you will reach out to me. The other thing is, in addition to programs you're interested in, if you just have questions for a current student, let me know. In addition to the counselors, Ms. Wendy has a fantastic crew working with y'all through summer college. So you'll have the counselors there, but there's also student workers in my office that have their recent Hall of Famers here for the University of Mississippi, and going on to some really fantastic graduate programs and jobs, and they've done some great internships. They are also a wealth of good connections for you as you kind of navigate this path and figure out a year from now, where am I going to be sitting? Where am I looking? Where am I going to be anticipating for that next step after high school? How do you even sit down and start thinking about that? You know, if maybe you're a little unsure, they are also a wonderful resource for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So now students, if you have questions, now is a good time to ask. As Dr. Jones said, you can email her with Lott related questions. You can email Ms. Kathy with questions about, anything related to your paperwork. But anything that you want to ask, now's your time. Anything you want to know? But
What time?
Go ahead.
What time is breakfast?
So Adam, you decide if you want to have breakfast. You'll need to get up well in advance. I think your first class is 8, I think. Yep. So you're gonna have to get up nice and early, but you can go have it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. That first day, I usually bring y'all donuts or something like that just to soften the blow. What else? No? Well, I will say, if any of you do have questions and you want to hang out, I'm sure you've all just done all your research and read everything we sent, and that's why you don't have any questions. And that's marvelous. I think it's awesome. But if you think of anything and you want to hang back and ask us, you're welcome to do so. But we'll consider this meeting concluded, and we will be continuing the conversation when we see you in just a couple weeks here. Thank you all for being here today. It was great seeing you.